Hi everybody, I'm here to give you my thoughts on the second sequel to Jaws, Jaws 3, or as it was known when it first came out in the theater, Jaws 3D. It was in three dimension. Ooh, boy, isn't that exciting? And I saw it that way in the theater when it first premiered. I think it was the day of release, actually. And this is an old review that I did quite some time ago. Let me just see what the date is on here. Yeah, June of 2005. This is a 20-year-old review. I plan on revisiting this soon, but I mean, I've seen it a couple of times already, maybe 3 or 4 times, and it never gets better, so I don't really expect things to improve anytime soon. Please, by the way, before I start talking about this thing, please check out the last video that I did where I talked about Jaws 2. There was a situation where I put the video up and I had to privatize it like within like 20 minutes because I'd realized I'd made an error in it and I had to go back and edit it. Well, I couldn't get back to the computer screen until I got home, which was like 3 or 4 hours later, and by which time I think a lot of people didn't really get to see it. Then I fixed it and made it public again. Anyway, please go back to Jaws 2 if you haven't seen that one. Okay, so this came out in June of 1983, this movie. And at the time, I was working in a really lousy factory job. I was only 21 at the time. And at this particular job, I'd been there I guess about a year at this time, and I had actually, since I was there a year, I actually had accrued some vacation time. The job was so bad. You want to know how much vacation time they gave me a year into the job? I remember it well because it was so absurd. I had earned 1.25 days vacation. Not a week, not 3 or 4 days, a day and a quarter. Whoa. So I remember taking a day off, in June, and I decided, what am I going to do today with my one day off? And I still have a quarter in the bank. Well, I went to see the newly released Jaws 3D. Here are the notes that I have about Jaws 3D. Okay, it says, I saw Jaws 3D, as it was called once upon a time, in the theater back in 1983. It was lousy then, and it's even worse now on home video. It absolutely blows my mind to fathom that the classic science fiction author Richard Matheson, remember him? I Am Legend and so many great sci-fi stories. Richard Matheson was somehow involved in co-writing this exercise in extreme tedium. The so-called story is a failed attempt at changing the locale to an aquatic theme park called SeaWorld. And for some people, I'll just throw in now who don't know, this reminds me of a movie from 1955 called Revenge of the Creature. Revenge of the Creature was the sequel to The Creature from the Black Lagoon, the classic 50s monster movie. And this is a lot like that. So the story turns to this aquatic, I don't know how you pronounce that word. I say aquatic, like Aquaman, aquatic theme park, SeaWorld, where Chief Brody's now grown son, Michael, works. And rather conveniently, two sharks, are they mother and child? Two sharks managed to gain access to the underwater kingdom to wreak havoc. It sounds like it has potential, right? Forget it. The new shark scenes are sillier than ever, and the level of tension and suspense is nil. The characters are completely uninteresting. And the worst served here is the actor Lou Gossett Jr. Louis Gossett Jr. was so excellent in the previous year's film An Officer and a Gentleman and won an award for that. Best Supporting Actor, and deservedly so. Loved the movie Officer and a Gentleman, and I loved his performance in there. But what a waste to have him in this movie doing nothing. And Dennis Quaid plays the now grown son of Brody, Mike Brody, and he doesn't have much to do. And the thing is, his love interest in the movie, played by Bess Armstrong, that's nothing really that gets built either too much. But Bess Armstrong is the only good thing I can say, because to me, my opinion, Bess Armstrong is adorable and cute in a girl next door kind of way. And that's that, all right? but she leaves no impression either within the movie. Doesn't do much. The selling point of the film in 1983 was its 3D effects, and these look absolutely pathetic when you're watching them in 2D. I mean, they look bad enough, I remember vividly, in 3D. I remember the one scene of the shark, like, body just coming closer and closer. It just looked really bad in the theater. I remember it sticks out in my mind all these years later. But watching it at home in regular standard 2D, absolutely abysmal. So this is a really, really bad and muddled movie, and easily one of the very worst sequels to a classic great motion picture ever made. Now this was followed 4 years later, 1987, by Jaws: The Revenge. And as maligned as that next film is by fans and critics alike, the truth is, it turned out a little better than number 3. So eventually I will get to Jaws: The Revenge and tell you what I think of Jaws: The Revenge. But for me, Jaws 3 or Jaws 3D is the worst of the Jaws series.